Hello and welcome to the channel. I've had a snowblower sitting here since last October that I have not been able to tell you about. This is the first time that I've been able to publicly talk about this new 2020 Husqvarna snow thrower. Last fall, Andy Grayson, the global product manager for Husqvarna, sent me this Proof Design snowblower. In other words, it's not a prototype. It's a production run machine to test and review and find out if there's any bugs with it. So I've had a chance to use it all last winter, and today I get to introduce it to you, tell you all about this new machine. Alright, so let's get started. Let's get the disclaimer out of the way. Husqvarna is not paying me to do this review. I'm doing this on my own, and just because they sent it to me doesn't mean that I'm going to be nice to them. So with that out of the way, Husqvarna went through and fixed all the problems that you've told them about over the last 4 to 5 years with all the two-stage snow throwers. They've also, because of your requests, they've also completely redesigned their top line snow throwers. The top line snow throwers have more capacity and are much more dependable than what they have in the past. So as I go around this new machine, I'm going to talk to you about what has changed and how this may be the best snow thrower for you. So let's start with the dash. So all of the Husqvarna snow throwers now have this new console dash. You've seen it before on the 200 series in previous years. This new one has been redesigned. It's all metal. Everything is metal on it. Handles are all nice and big. Even this power steering triggers down here on the bottom are nice and easy to use. One of the issues with the old previous models is that the hand warmers, it had hand warmers on it, but they didn't work that well. So Husqvarna took, and the old hand warmer element was about this long. The new element on this one is about this long. So the hand warmers work a lot better than what they used to. All of the controls are nice and big for your gloved hands. The speed selector here, this model happens to be a hydrostatic. The 400 series snow throwers, the new 400 series snow throwers are hydrostatic. They have a heavy duty 300 series with a friction disc transmission, and they also have the 200 series with a friction disc, which is all controlled here. The discharge chute, it's easy to use up here. Push the trigger, turn it. Deflector. This is a lever for the track drive so that you can adjust it up or down or anywhere in between. In other words, it locks in any position from resting on the ground and float, or it locks up if you want to for transport and stuff like that. The new 400 series is all electric start with onboard batteries. The battery in this thing is huge compared to some of the other ones. So you're never going to have a problem with this one starting in the wintertime. Key switch, switch throttle. One thing nice about this dash is there's no handle sticking out, so when you go to turn, you know, if you're kind of in a tight spot, a lot of times with a conventional snow thrower handle, you get your handles will get stuck in your clothes. That doesn't happen with these. This console is set up very easy to use. It's almost like sitting in your car, so it's very easy to see and use. That's really about it for the dash. I like the dash a lot. It's convenient. So moving around, the machine, Yes, I'll get to that engine in a couple minutes. Part of the handle system that's very unique to Husqvarna is it is height adjustable. Remove this bolt, loosen this bolt, slide it up and down to adjust the height that you want. So this machine works for short people and tall people. I like this system a lot. Because of that, all of the controls on this are cables. So it looks like there's a lot of cables on this, but what they've done is, because this can adjust up and down, there's no rods or thin little metal cables and stuff like that on this. This is all commercial grade, heavy duty sealed cables. I had no problems with any of these binding, or once you get past the aesthetics of it, there's no problem with these cables at all. I like this system. Another thing that they've done with the handles is, you can see down here, the handles are very well reinforced so that when you push down on it, there's no give in the handles at all. The whole machine is stiff. You won't have to worry about these handles breaking 5-10 years down the road. I like that a lot. Husqvarna has changed the track system on the track drive. The old system was a 3-point system. They did have some problems with the idler wheels binding and breaking with the old system. So they went to this new metal driven wheel and a little shorter track, so you don't have to worry about the tracks rolling off the machine anymore. There's a lot of guides in this, so you'll never have problems with this track drive. It's going to last you a long time. Along with that, they've replaced the hydrostatic transmission and the power steering in this. Previously you had a separate transmission and then a separate transmission and separate power steering mechanics. This new system is an integrated, where the hydrostatic and the power steering are all one unit. So you don't have to worry about lubricating dogs or dogs binding up inside of the power steering, making it hard to turn in the winter time. I've got an older version running around here with the old dogs, and it's a pain in the butt because they'll get stiff and they don't want to turn. This new system is much simpler. There's no maintenance to it ever. There's no hydrostatic fluid reservoir to check or anything like that. It's all integrated. I expect this transmission to give you years and years and years of performance without any problems at all. The height on this, I'm kind of bouncing around here a little bit today, I hope you don't mind. The height on this is controlled by a dampener, and let me see if I can scoot in there and show it to you. Okay, this is a hydraulic dampener. There's no electric height adjustment or ratchets or anything like that. So all you have to do is all you have to do is move the handle up here on the dash, and it releases the dampener or locks the dampener. So it's real simple. By the way, that was the only problem that I found with this machine through the proved design. When they assembled it, they didn't quite get the latch for that hydraulic dampener adjusted correctly, so it wouldn't lock up. So it wasn't an issue other than an assembly issue. They've now got that fixed, so on the assembly line, so the machine that you buy this year is not going to have any problems. I'm going to make you wait on that motor. Yes, you can see it's EFI, but we'll talk about it. This is very unique. It's a very unique motor. You're going to like it a lot. Some of the other things that Husqvarna has done with this new 400 series. Oh, by the way, this 400 series is available in both track and wheeled units. So If you don't need a track drive, if you're not out off-roading, or if you don't have a really steep driveway, this is available with the wheels. And we'll talk about the differences in the engine. Otherwise, everything else is the same between the track drive and the wheeled version. Okay, moving on, let's talk about the front, the chute, the housing, the auger system, that type of stuff. If you notice down here, that's metal. And it's replaceable. So over the years, if you run a lot of gravel through this machine, you can and the housing, on a lot of the old machines, the housing would wear out and you'd have to replace the whole housing. With this one here, this is a replaceable piece. So if you do happen to wear that out, it's just a simple fix. Husqvarna has been using metal for their chute and all that type of stuff for a long time. They use a rubber deflector out, a rubber extension out here on the deflector. That's nice because if you're blowing light snow, it tends to channel the snow better for you so it doesn't blow back in your face. An improvement to the line now this year is this cable now has a sealed rubber boot on it, a heavy duty end, and a spacer in the back. So this works a lot easier than what it has in the past. I like it, no binding at all with it. That cable is going to last the life of the machine. Also on these, since it is a height adjustable handle, they use cables to control the rotation of the chute instead of a rod and the gears. It works pretty simple. I like the handle on it. The handle is big enough so that it moves fast. Really the only plastic on this snow thrower is this cover here and then the belt cover down here for the engine, for the belts that go to the transmission and the blower housing. Underneath that now they've also improved the belts. Previously they were using some OEM, but we had problems with belts breaking, particularly in the 200 series, the 30-inch machines. So Husqvarna has gone to Gates manufactured belts. The Gates brand name. Gates belts are horsepower belts. They will last. You won't have any problems with belts breaking again. And while I'm here, let's move back just a little bit. One thing nice about this machine and the rest of the line now is the snow thrower itself is balanced well, so there's not a lot of weight on the front of the machine. It makes it easier for smaller people to turn. Also, because of that, they don't need the big heavy-duty skid shoes that they used in the past. You'll find that these steel shoes will last longer than the old ones because there's not as much weight up front. You don't need a lot of weight on this snow thrower for it to blow snow. If you've owned a different brand over the years, a lot of times you'll find that the snow throwers will ride up. If there's too much snow in front of it, the front ends will keep wanting to ride up on you. The design of this SnowBlower is so that it won't do that. In other words, there's enough auger and impeller inside this machine that it doesn't ride up. So let's talk about the front, the housing, the auger, the impeller. I have to apologize. My video light decided to break on me. So we're going to use a flashlight to talk about the different features. See if that works. Bottom scraper, replaceable. This Husqvarna went to the open flight augers a few years ago. Open flight augers allow more, when they're pulling the snow into the machine, it allows more air to get into the snow so it goes through, so the snow goes through the machine better. It doesn't plug near as often, and it throws it farther. So you can get a lot more capacity with an open auger design. If you notice, most of the brands nowadays have gone to the open auger. This one is serrated, so if you're working in really hard packed snow, like, you know, old snow, a pile of snow that the snowplow left you 2 weeks ago, this serrated auger will chew right through that, and you won't have near the problems of getting that stuff cleared. Husqvarna uses 2 shear bolts, one for each side, and they're pretty easy to replace. 90% of the time they fall out if they break, so you can see that you're having a problem. They have a cast, yes, it's silver, but it's a cast gearbox, and they also now have included a gearbox brace. If you noticed in the past, or with some of the other brands some of the cheaper brands, if you sit and watch your front auger when everything is running, the thing will bounce up and down, and eventually what happens is the shafts break inside of them and crack, and or the gearbox itself tears itself apart. By putting this brace in, you don't have those issues anymore. So your gearbox is going to last a lot longer. On top of that, the Husqvarna gearboxes are warranted for 5 years, so you won't ever have to worry about these going bad on you. One nice feature that Husqvarna has is they have a 4-blade cast impeller in the back. It is cupped, and it's designed to throw snow quickly and efficiently out of this machine. I have no problems with this snowblower plugging, and I had a chance to use it on new snow, snow that's settled down, and heavier wet snow. This is a high capacity snow thrower. It's a heavy duty machine. The housing is good quality metal. The sides are all stamped, and the back is stamped to give it rigidity so it doesn't rattle, and so the bottoms don't bend in like the old Craftsman's used to do. This housing is going to last. This little piece across the top is just a little decoration. That is one other piece of plastic on this machine. It's not structural, so you won't have any problems with that. It does have sealed ball bearings on the sides, so everything is built to last. There's no maintenance, no grease zerks, nothing like that inside the housing. One of the things about the Husqvarna snow throwers that I've liked, the older series and now this new 400 series, is I do like how far they throw. I find that this machine will throw snow just as far as the Hondas, and it'll do it faster. Bigger motor, larger impeller. This is a 14-inch impeller. It's going to give you considerably more capacity than what the Hondas have. So, and if you kind of look, I have a feeling that Husqvarna is aimed towards them. They want. All right, so let's continue on around the machine. All Husqvarna snow throwers now have LED lights on them, from the single stage all the way up through the 400 stage. The 200 and 300 series has dual LED lights up on the dash. The 400 series uses this big torch, I call it, here. If you looked in the video of me blowing snow with the camera, you saw it flashing. That's not the way it actually is. The frame rate of the way this camera works makes it look like it's flashing. It's not. It's very bright. It's as bright as anything else out in the market. Plus, you'll never have to replace them. LED lights are going to last the life of the machine. Husqvarna uses a brace to hold the lamp on and for the chute It's nice and strong. That's has never been an issue with the Husqvarna. Again, cables, commercial grade cables on these, they're all sealed up. Anything else besides the engine on this? I don't know. So, let's look at this side of the engine. Not much to look at. Let's go around the other side. Do you mind? Alright, so last but not least, let's talk about the new engines. Husqvarna has been using Lct engines now for quite a few years. As you know, there's no problems with an Lct engine. They just last and last and last. There have been a few other brands that have had EFI, electronic fuel injection, to replace the carburetor and all the starting problems and fuel problems and stuff like that. Husqvarna has taken this one step further, and they've added an onboard electric start to the EFI and a quiet muffler. So this muffler on this machine is really nice. You won't have any complaints from your neighbors about this machine making too much noise. It is noticeably quieter than the old engines. This particular one on this 430 is a 420cc. They also have the EFI available in a track drive on the 27 and the 24 inch. The 400 series wheeled units, that motor is not EFI, but it is electronic governor. So it uses a regular carb, but has electronic governor. So the nice thing about that is, just like this one, you just turn the key and it starts. The electronic governor is nice because the engine doesn't bog down when you start getting into heavy snow. It recovers much faster so that you have a lot more power for throwing snow. I like this engine a lot. It's extremely quiet. There's no vibration to it at all. It has plenty of power. In fact, I don't know if you're going to find a SnowBlower out there with more power than this. And just in case, it does have a pull start on it. One last thing, let's talk about this big gray box on here. I'm not going to open the box up because there's really all there is in here is one sealed electronic module, the starter battery, and a few wires. So, but the battery is good sized. It's big. You won't have any problems with this machine not starting because of the battery capacity or it's too cold or anything like that. I left this one out in minus 20 degree weather last year, and it started without any issues at all. So you'll enjoy it. All right, let's go pull this back a little bit. I am done talking about the machine. I think I've covered all the new features on it. I think I've gone through what you're going to like about the machine. I didn't have any issues at all with this last winter other than the strut not being adjusted right. This particular model is the international version, and what that means is it does have this European style finger guard in it. The model that you get here in the US won't have that. That does affect how much snow this thing throws. So if you're in the United States and you happen to get this version with the finger guard in it, it's lawfully not required here in the US. So, and it does help the machine throw just a little bit further. Otherwise, you can just kind of brace it out of the way with a tie wrap if you want. Well, that's about it. I've gone through everything that I can think of on this machine, the new features of it, the improvements that they've made. I like this snow thrower a lot. I am going to call it a Honda killer, because everything that you don't like about the Hondas, about them plugging on wet snow, about gravel getting into the housings, all that type of stuff, it does not happen with this. This thing has unbelievable power for its size, and it throws as far or further than the current Hondas. I like the electric start on it. You're not going to have any issues with the electric start. I like the controls on it. The controls are big, robust, easy to use, and one of the unique features of the height adjustable handle, so that if you're tall or short, you can use these machines. So if you have any comments or any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. I'm going to have a lot more snowblowers to talk about this year, and hopefully over the next month to 6 weeks we'll get a chance to look at a lot of the newer machines from the other brands also. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Alright, this is a special treat. No one's seen this before. This is the 2019, in other words, it won't be available until fall of 2019, Husqvarna S430T. Let's see how it does on, there's about 22, 23 inches of snow here, so let's see how it does. And the snow's been setting about 2 days now, so it was actually about 26 inches, but it's settled down a little bit, so let's see how she does.